Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Grace, and in this video I'm going to be decorating my big family home from my Sims 4 cottage living let's play. In the previous video, if I do everything correctly, these are gonna go up on the same day, but in my previous video I built this house and kind of laid out all the land and the foliage and everything like that, and then sorry, I just kicked something. In this video I'll be just decorating the house mostly and adding all the finishing details. So we start off in the kitchen because kitchens are my favorite. I really love, I think these cabinets came with cottage living. I feel like they're really similar to the country kit. Country kitchen kit, that's fun to say. I feel like they look really similar, but they're both really cute, so I don't think it's that big a deal. I think they're adorable though. I love the appliances that came with this pack, so the oven and that fridge. I love that fridge. I think it's adorable. I didn't give them the other fridge just because I felt like this was an old house, but they wouldn't just like leave the furniture that like their grandparents or great grandparents had. I think they'd modernize it a little bit. I love the oven that way, one, because I just wanted to use it, and then also I feel like, at least when I'm talking to older members of my family, they're all like, oh, back in my day, this oven could cook like 6 roast chickens and the stovetop was so good and blah, 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 and they're just not made right anymore. You know, is that just my family? I don't know. But I wanted to leave the stove like that, looking, you know, the little older model, because I felt like that would fit. You know, they didn't want to get rid of it, but the fridge is still old, but like a little more modern than like, the other one wasn't just made out of wood, but it was like a wooden box, you know what I mean? And what I did to decorate is, I love this method of decoration when I want to make a home look really cluttered and lived in, is I just scroll through all of the decoration items and put them on the floor in a big pile, and then I just place them all around. So that I'm not like just looking for particular items. I'm going through everything that I could potentially use and be like, oh, I'll use that. Ooh, I'll use that. I love the way this kitchen turned out because it looks so cluttered and lived in. Because even though most of the people who have lived in this house have moved out, and now it's just Juniper and Mason, and then, you know, when Adelaide comes over, she's there too, but not everyone takes every single one of their items with them when they move, or, you know, a house just doesn't suddenly become clean. So I figured, even though people have kind of left, it's still a little bit cluttered. There's just stuff left over, stuff that you didn't think or didn't want to throw away. And things just pile up, essentially. And I love the way that this kitchen turned out because of that. I really love that the like egg holder that's shaped like a chicken. I screamed when I saw that. It's so cute. Here I'm using the laundry day pack, that table, and then the parenthood, I end up deleting that little summer basket, and I'm using these parenthood plates as like, you know, they had each of their kids just like draw something or paint something on a plate, and they're there just for decoration. I think that's really cute. I tried to put in a lot of like childish details, because it's like, you know, people grew up in this house and you're gonna have stuff left over from that. Okay, I did put stuff on that, sorry. When I was playtesting this, there were no objects on on that little shelf there, so I'll have to fix that because I was like, wait, am I just dumb and I didn't put anything there? Oops. But yeah, here I am just putting the finishing touches on the wall. You can see some of that little ivy poke through and I just didn't fix it, but just pretend it's a big crack in the wall and we'll be fine. Here I am working on the living room. I actually ended up not using the couch that came with this pack. It's not that I don't like it, but I feel like it's more, not so much for, it's like, maybe, I don't think elegant is the right word. It's like nice is essentially what I'm trying. Wait, do I end up using it? No. Do I? Weird, I thought I didn't. Anyway, I didn't use it, that's what it is. I didn't use it in the house for June's parents because it was like too nice and I wanted really rustic furniture. And I think it fits a little bit better in this build just because I tried to give them like a big hodgepodge of furniture that, you know, they've just collected all the time, or over time, excuse me. And that's also what I did with those two mismatched chairs right there. I was also inspired by the chairs from Up. You know, Ellie and Carl's, their big chair and their little chair. I thought that was cute, so I tried to do that. I may have also done it in June's parents' house, but I can't remember. So I did the same thing I did in the kitchen where I just go through and I pull as many objects as I can and try to fit them, you know, everywhere throughout the living room. I ended up, I think I may have mentioned this in my last video. I'm recording them like 30 minutes apart, but my memory is so bad. But I'm pretty sure I mentioned just that little graveyard area on the outside of the house and how I have little urns inside just to like kind of make that cannon pull that all together. So you have like two big urns here on the fireplace. I imagine that might be like June's grandparents, you know, or something like that. And then they also have little the little pet urns from cats and dogs, you know, because I didn't give anyone a dog when I was initially making The Sims and when I made that video introducing everyone, but I imagine that they have like a farm dog just to hang out. And what do farm dogs do? Hunt the foxes. We'll say that. That's so mean. Sorry. I also gave them the little rat holes from City Living. I feel like that's a little realistic. Like, this is an old house in like the middle of a field. They're gonna have a few rats, I imagine. I think I put that in the living room and then maybe one in the office. I don't think I put any like upstairs or anything. That wouldn't make sense to me. Here I'm putting in their little laundry room. I did also give them a, what is it called? A clothesline and the wash tub. Mason uses that primarily, but like I said, they're gonna modernize the house a little bit, so that at some point they definitely got a little washer room, especially with 4 kids. Come on. I also gave them a vacuum that's never going to be used because I turned off the dust. I thought the dust kit would be like, I never like go into things being like, this is gonna be so good because it's EA. But I was like, this might be kind of cute, you know? And then the dust just drives me insane because it gathers so fast, and I feel like my Sims are really dumb when it comes to vacuuming. They just don't want to do it, or they can't get to where the dust is, and it's just infuriating, and I don't want someone to be vacuuming every single day. So they have a vacuum for no reason is what I'm trying to say. But here I'm working on the foyer and the entrance kind of, or the hall into the living room, the adjacent, I like to call it like just the useless room. It ends up having a foosball table in it because I couldn't figure out what else to put in it. But there's that, and I'm just putting all of these little decorations on here. I'm using the same kind of like decorating method in all of these. If I ever slack on my decorating kind of as we get later in the video, I'm so sorry. I finished filming this video at midnight and I was really tired, but I was having a lot of fun and I didn't want to stop and I wanted to get my recording done. But if you see me slacking off a little bit, I apologize. And then here I am in this bathroom. It's not really decorated that much. It's a guest bathroom primarily, so I feel like you kind of just have the bare bones. Maybe I go in and put a little window there later, but I feel like there's not a lot of There's not a lot of space to be decorated in it. But moving on, we're in the kitchen. Initially, I tried to get like the main dining table and then a little smaller table that's like a breakfast area, but that ended up not working out. I only have 4 chairs here because I thought it looked cute for when I was like going in and taking screenshots. So maybe I'll put in like more chairs later for if guests want to come over or anything like that. But right now it's just those 4 chairs. Then I put in, I think, a china hutch. We have that like picnic set, that set of 2 picnic baskets, and just a little chair. You have that Parenthood fake, I don't know what that's supposed to be, like crafted flowers maybe. Just another child decoration from the past. And then I tried to be really, what was I gonna say, like liberal with my paintings. Usually my walls are pretty bare when I build, but I tried to make it like, oh, they have so many pictures and so many paintings and so many photos that they've just built up over the years, and I tried to kind of keep that going throughout. If you'll also see me putting a bunch of holes in the wall, and it's always behind something, which I think is funny. It's like, the way I like to imagine it is something got broken, or somehow the wall got broken, and so they just put in like a painting or something to hide it. Or if it's behind furniture, maybe they were moving the furniture and it like busted into the wall and they just were like, oops, and didn't do anything about it. And then I think you'd also have have you seen that? I think it's a Vine. I think it's pre-TikTok. I think it's a Vine where that girl is on a hoverboard in her house, like sitting on it, and she flies backwards into the wall and just busts a big hole in the wall. Didn't have a hoverboard, but I like to think that June and her siblings got into some kind of antics like that, henceforth holes in the wall. But now we're moving on to the quote-unquote game room. Initially, as you can see, I was trying to make it a TV room because there is no television in the main living space. I feel like because her parents may be a little bit more old-fashioned, or they just didn't feel like spending the money, they didn't have a big TV to kind of just gather around. And so I was like, oh, maybe they made like a separate TV room, because you have some houses like that. But it was just so small, I couldn't make it work in a way that I liked. So I ended up just putting in a foosball table and a bunch of paintings and just making it like a little mini game room so they have some form of entertainment there. And then after this, I think we move on to the office. I ended up also not using the computer that we got with this pack. Sorry, I just think it's ugly. or at least doesn't fit. I feel like this is another thing that they would have modernized. So I gave him a computer that I think looks kind of clunky and old, but it's not a typewriter, which is kind of what that computer we got looks like. I think I described it to someone as a typewriter with a screen attached to it. I think looking at it now, maybe that's not what it was. I think that's what it was supposed to look like. But I tried to make this office really cluttered and messy like everything else. I imagine there's a lot of paperwork. I've never run a farm, but I imagine there's some kind of paperwork if you're like selling to a business, or if you like are a business yourself, just government forms. I don't know. I'm an art student. But you know, I think June at the beginning of this is really over her head, and you have papers everywhere and books everywhere, and it's like she's trying to find old files for blah 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 blah. And I just tried to make this office look like whoever's working in it is really like scatterbrained, or it's not quite put together right now. And then also just like little details like the plants everywhere. I think both June and her parents were plant people. Obviously, they're farmers, and so, you know, I love the plants in every room. I love that. You're going to see that little succulent. What pack is that from? I don't remember. But you're gonna see that little succulent plant and the single like potted plant. It's somewhere on the floor, and I think I might put it on the desk later. I can't remember. But the like orange potted plant, that one, you're going to see it a lot because I really like it. I think it's adorable, and it's gonna be in every room of this house pretty much. Just because I love it so much, and I feel like it fits in a lot of different areas. And here I am with the holes again. And there's the little rat hole. And now we move on to June's room. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I feel like it really fits her personality. It's really, you know, sunshine, cheerful. I really like that bed we got. I wish it came in kind of more color combinations. This is where something like the color wheel would have really helped, but I think it's so cute. I tried to give her, I did give her like that little, what's it called? Granite Falls, the little bear, like they've gone there on vacation or something like that. Just do a bunch of details in her room, trying to make her not necessarily outdoorsy, because when I think of outdoorsy, I think of like hiking, but yeah, she's a farmer's daughter, and I tried to illustrate that in this room. I gave her a little guitar. I don't even know if she'd play guitar, but you know, I gave her one anyway. I tried to give everyone things to do in this house since there is no TV and I don't see them playing a lot of computer games, so I tried to do what I could. I also remembered to give her a hamper. I forget to do that constantly, and if I didn't, I don't think I gave Mason one. Oops. But without doing that, I'll just have either the laundry, the washer dryer, or the clothesline, and no hamper for the clothes to go, so they just end up on the floor. And I'm like, why is this happening? But I remembered to give her hamper, And now we move on to her bathroom. I didn't even remember the sink that came with this pack while I was making it. So she gets one from, I think that's also the Country Living one. Maybe I'm wrong. If it's part of the newer ones, I can't like always identify them. Yeah, that's Country Living. And I tried to cram in as much as I could. Detail wise, I really like that shelf that I put in from Cats and Dogs. I just had to size it down. It's so big, and I usually never use it because of that, and I hate sizing down shelves and things like that, because then when Sims go to put their plates down or whatever, they'll put it on the shelf, but it's like the slots are still the same size, and so you'll have this shelf flying in the air, or you'll have a plate in the air because the shelf is too small. But it would just fit there perfectly, and it was so cute. I had to just to pretend that wouldn't happen, or just deal with it when it would. Next, we move on to the crafts room, and I'm really happy with the way this room turned out. I wanted, a place to do a lot of different activities, because I think I also mentioned this in the last video. They had like candle making and brewing. I think the brewing is in the barn though, but candle making and brewing, and as you can see, we had the the woodworking station, and then I put even more knitting or needlepoint stuff, I can't remember. Just a lot of different activities to do, and also other ways to make money, because if you have the bees, you're making wax, I think. If you have the llama, you have your own wool to do for yarn, and you have like, I don't know, you can't like gather wood in this game, but yeah, you still have the woodworking station. If they grow flowers, they have the flower arranging station. I almost put that in this room, but I think it would make more sense to be outside, which is where it ends up being. But I just figured they'd have a lot of secondary things to sell, you know what I mean? And I wanted like a room for that, and I didn't think the barn would work. I wanted like a space in the house. Like, once everyone moved out, they kind of shuffled all this stuff in the room. When I was going over this house, I realized that I made one guest room for like children, because June has, I think, a few nieces and nephews, and then I realized that I didn't make any guest rooms for like adults. So there's an alternate universe where this room is just, there I am using that potted plant again, but there's an alternate universe where this is just a guest room, but that's not this universe, and I think that I'm really happy with the way this room turned out. Take a shot every time I say that, oh my god. But I love the colors. I love how cheerful it is. I think it stands out a lot compared to more of, I don't want to say rustic, because I don't think this house is that rustic, but it has a lot more of June's personality more than anyone else in it, because I imagine once her siblings moved out, she was kind of the one decorating this room and everything. But oh, those are the shelves that I didn't put anything on. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this room. And now we move on to that kind of children's guest room that I told you about. So this is just a extra room, and since I didn't have anything in particular I wanted to put in here, I imagined it's for, when June's nieces and nephews come to visit, they just have their own little room to kind of hang out in. I gave them a bunk bed. I think she has more than two, but I just gave her 2 beds. I love our bunk beds. Very annoying at times. but I think they look really cute. This one also isn't as cluttered just because it's a guest room, and I feel like whatever the kids bring, they kind of take with them, and you know, they have some toys and stuff like that, but for the most part, when they're not there, it's pretty clean. And then this is the last room. This is another one I should have made into a guest room for like adults, and I just didn't, but I figured since all of her siblings and people moved out, they would just have a room just moving boxes and anything that people didn't want but couldn't throw away. It's the attic for a house that doesn't have an attic, you know what I mean? So I just put a bunch of random boxes and things like that, and then a few spider webs. Like once they moved everything in there, no one really bothers. Things like that. It's just the trash room, basically. And then the second bathroom over there is pretty quick. Why did I say this? No, it is. I think I end up changing that bathroom later to maybe just one with a toilet. Or is this other one? I don't know. Can you see how much attention I pay to my build, where I just don't remember them as soon as I finish? But yeah, that bathroom has, I think, just a shower and no bathtub or anything. But that's not a guest one, but it's for like, it's not the master bathroom is what I'm trying to say. And then here I am putting together the hallway. I still tried to make this one look a little bit cluttered, you know, because it's upstairs and everyone's gonna be running around in it. So that even though people have moved out, there's still just like a bunch of stuff everywhere, especially plants, because I've already elaborated on how there they are together. I use those all the time. More holes, as you can see, and I imagine June's mother as being, or like having family that's from Mount Komorebi. So if you ever see any of the decorations from, what's it called, Snowy Escape, that's why I imagine her mom being from like Mount Komorebi, or her grandparents being from there, and then June's father, what's his name? Nathaniel. Her father being from here in Henford. So here I am finishing the last bathroom, and I think I do end up moving that shower from the second bathroom over here. So it's like you have the downstairs bathroom, and then you have a upstairs bathroom, and then you have like a full bath here for everyone to use, and that's why it's kind of the biggest. And I think after this bathroom is all finished up, it's the end of the house's interior, and then we move on to Mason and his farm. So see, I'm cutting out his little loft right here and putting in the platform. See, I'm raising it up. I wanted it to be kind of cramped to the ceiling, as per the the TikTok that I was telling you about earlier. I wanted it to feel a little bit claustrophobic, and I'm putting in that ladder. And see, I consider putting in another one, and then I'm like, well, it's so short, and like it's coming in through the like edge of that platform. Why don't I just use stairs? The Sims can't use those stairs, and it infuriates me. But I changed that really easily, and I think it's the only real problem we had. But I think, yeah, I end up using that cabinet. I use that fur rug a lot in this build, and I like to imagine, you can't hunt in this game, but I like to imagine, you know, that they do, or someone in June's family has hunted in the past, and so they just have like fur rugs that they made themselves lying around. So we have a lot of fur rugs kind of about. And then we have some woodworking statues, because I like to think that Mason is the one who woodworks out of the two. Like June does more of the knitting and the, what is it, the flower arranging. I think maybe they both do candles because that's real fun. And then Mason kind of does more woodworking, and then I put a little brewer station kind of downstairs, I think. I almost forgot about it, but I ended up giving him that brewer station because I haven't had a chance to use it much, and so I figured this would kind of make sense. They have a big farm, they're growing fruits maybe. Maybe like watermelon brew. I don't know what the proper terminology is, but yeah, I imagine that's something he does. It's not a side hustle if it's like part of the farm, but you know what I mean. And then we have just some random boxes to make it look like they store stuff there. I think I end up moving those sacks that I put down earlier, those debug items. I moved those in there a little bit later. And yeah, there they go. And then I also put some around the garden, and then there's the brewer station. I can't remember if I gave him anything else. I think I thought about that ping pong table, and here I am, but I ended up going against it. And here I am kind of going through choosing all of the other activities that I just wanted to put around the barn, or the farm. I gave him that wishing well because I think it's really fun. And then I'm finally putting the bees in, and I wanted to give them more, but also bees are so like high maintenance. I knew that I wouldn't like feel like having them take care of 8 bee boxes, but maybe they'll get some in the future. And then there's that ring toss game and a little, what's it called, like a teepee little tent for kids if they come visit. And I considered having a, what is it called, the like bonfire, but I ended up choosing against it. 1, because I couldn't find a really good place for it to go, and 2, because I was like, this is a bad idea. I feel like if a fire starts on the farm, they probably wouldn't have a bonfire anywhere. So I ended up against that, but I gave them this picnic area just to give everyone like a seating area, because I felt like we have a lot of outdoor space but not a lot of outdoor like areas to sit and eat. So they have that outdoor seating area with with a grill, and I think I'm just putting in the finishing touches. I end up having to go back and put that wall in for the barn because I forgot to do that. But yeah, just some little pebbles for details, and I think that's pretty much it for this half of the video. Thank you for watching. If you've watched both of my videos, I know that together they're really long. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you have any thoughts or opinions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd love to interact with you, and I'll see you later. Bye!